Okay, so this is going to be commentary for the 26th chapter of my book, Dimensional, which you can find on Kindle or listen to as an audiobook, and the links are in the description. Okay, so chapter 26 is called The Experiential Body. Now, in the commentary I made for the previous chapter, I was mentioning the fact that the body is tricking us to believe that that the end of the body is going to be also the end of experience, and it's inconceivable, and therefore we do everything we can to prevent its death, its alleged death. Well, there is no such experiential event of death. I mean, there is corporeal death, but the experience will necessarily persist afterwards. But then you can ask the question, why? Why? How does it fool us to think that? So remember the name of this theory, segmented aspects. It is not segmented dimensions. It's not a segmentation on fundamental dimensions on the objective substrate. It is a segmentation on experience itself. There is segmentation in experience itself between aspects of what we perceive, of our perception. Specifically, say you look at your hand, right? The form that you see of your hand is one thing. But if, for example, you have, let's say, a paper cut or whatever, and it hurts a bit, that's a completely different aspect of your hand. One is a form, like the shape of the hand. Second is how it feels. And that's not a form, that's experience itself. So there's a segmentation between the form of your hand in the wakeful world, which is an experiential phenomena. It exists only in experience as perception, and there's a segmented from the feeling of that hand, which is a different part of experience. It happens together, and therefore it comes together, like the shape, the form of the hand and the feeling of the hand comes together, and therefore it's really hard to distinguish them, but they're not the same thing. There's the wakeful body. Okay, there's the body, which is like an objective substrate which exists and we never perceive it in any form. There's the wakeful body that we see in the wakeful world. It's a form. It looks like 2 hands, 2 legs, head. And then there's the experiential body, which doesn't look like anything. It just feels. It feels hunger. It feels pain. It feels pleasure. It feels the movement of movement, like the corporeal movement. So that's a different body. That's the experiential body. And so we have a bit of a problem, like we are coming from physicalism. You won't even be remotely aware of there being an experiential body. If you're coming from physicalism, if you think that everything is just physical processes, then you think that the body exists in some objective sense. The corporeal body exists in some objective sense, and our perception of it is just an epiphenomenal aspect of that. Like it doesn't matter if we perceive anything, whether it's our senses or the sense of pain or pleasure that we feel, like from touching something we like or tasting something we like or dislike. It's all just epiphenomenal. There is nothing else other than the objective body, which you call the physical body. In this theory, there is the wakeful body, which is just like a perception of a body, and there is no body. There's no like a point of integration in objective substrate that is the body. It doesn't integrate. The only place it integrates is in perception. But there's also another body which physicalists will not even entertain at all, because it's pure experience with nothing, nothing wakeful of it, nothing physical. It's just experience. That's the experiential body. But it's there. It's a undocumented, unaccounted for aspect of existence. You know 100% it exists because you feel it, but you never. It wouldn't occur to you that it's separate from the wakeful form, which you consider physical. But it is. Even if it doesn't occur to you that that's the case, we know it is. Specifically, you know something about phantom limbs. Phantom limbs is like people that, even though they cannot see a limb in the wakeful world because it has been cut off, they still feel it, because a disconnect between, there's a discrepancy between the experiential body and the wakeful body. Now, similarly, like I don't know, because I don't have first hand knowledge of this, but maybe some people that say identify themselves as one gender, and then while the wakeful physical body is a different gender, could be that in the experiential body they are simply that it simply is not this. There's a mismatch between the experiential body and the corporeal wakeful body. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's no different from a phantom limb, if it's like that. So, yeah. Now the question is, why is there an experiential body? Well, the experiential body is the thing that is the gold mine for the body in evolutionary sense, because it actually links experience with the objective bodily concerns. The objective bodily substrate has a lot to do with the production of the wakeful body form, which has a lot therefore to do with the experiential body, and this is how the objective substrate has such a strong sway on experience, which is otherwise completely causally independent from the physical, or from the objective substrate, from the fundamental dimensions that inspire the form of the wakeful body. So this isn't to say this is like everything there is to say about this. I think this is just the beginning of a way of understanding probably aspects of medicine and biology. But if you're coming from physicalism, then you don't stand a chance to understand this topic, because it doesn't exist in your vocabulary. And the same also applies to dualism. If you believe that a distinction between the body and mind, you will miss the fact that part of the mind is a body. The experiential body is part of what you otherwise call mind. It's not the physical body as dualism would argue it is. So it's a new category, and again, it's necessary.